unmute yourself? I'm trying to do it. Okay, yes, please go on.
Yes, good evening, everyone in the house. I particularly want to thank the organizers of this conference. I want to thank, first of all, Professor Okpebi. I was at your office a short while before the lockdown. I was sharing with you a project I was having in stylometrics in world music. And you were about taking me to the center just a while before the coronavirus crisis came and disrupted a lot of things. I've been doing digital humanities for the past 1.5 years. I run a Yoruba culture and language-based website. And I had a very difficult challenge in November 2019 when I was trying to propose to one of the foremost newspapers in Nigeria, which clocked 70 years around November, and we're trying to propose to digitize their archive because they have some of the leading top-notch archives as far as Nigerian newspapers are concerned. But while they received our proposal a while before November, their 70th anniversary, in the beginning, there was this acceptance. There was this general feeling of acceptance that they loved what we were about to do for them. And we helped them to understand the value in digitizing their archives for scholarship and patronage across the world. But then suddenly there was this skepticism that we might hijack the entire project and therefore putting them at economic disadvantage as far as their labor of many years were concerned. So my question here is, seeing that a country like Nigeria, it was good to see from your slide, sir, what is being done already in South Africa as far as newspapers and the tabloids are concerned. So my question here is that, with respect to African countries, how do we ensure that the discourse of digital humanities is taken out of the confine of academic discourses alone, the four walls of the university, to mainstream the same, therefore winning the confidence and creating awareness, in society? How do we ensure that DH is mainstreamed for the benefit not only of academic scholars, but of society at large, where organizations and governments, and the civil society is concerned? So this is my simple question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bilu. Now let me invite Dr. Yeku from the US to please respond to that.
Well, thanks for the offer to enable me answer this question. I'd like to thank Dr. Bello and of course every other participant for being here. I'm excited to join and I'm really hoping to learn a lot just listening to people. I think the question is an important one that speaks to anxieties in relation to copyrights and ownership, the politics of ownership, and of course also what it means to honor local communities who produce the data we use when we try to initiate digital projects. My sense of this is that we need to keep in mind the importance of a collaborative approach that is based on honoring communities. If local communities understand that the data they provide will represent their voice, in a lot of ways, they might be able to, to go along with the projects. My sense of this is that there will always be bureaucratic issues to contend with as we seek to create digital projects. But generally, an archive is not an individual collection, since we understand an archive to be something that is communally driven, communally sourced. They want to ensure that those from whom these materials have been collected are involved, not just only in the process of supply these materials, but also in the process of digitization itself. So what I always tell people, and what I've learned, what I've seen in terms of practices by colleagues around the world is an approach to digital projects that recognizes the agency of the community that supplies this material. So in the case of this particular organization, Dr. Bello speaks about, there's nothing, the fears, and these are legitimate fears, right, of these people. But what are is assuring them ownership belongs to them, strongly commit to honoring their presence in this project. So this is not just about the supply the digitalization project and that's the end of the involvement. I think a better approach is to consider how all through the process their presence is well asserted, and I think it speaks to what Professor Kwebi mentioned earlier in terms of collaboration. Those who do digital humanities do not just collaborate among themselves, but they also collaborate with communities. And if communities can gain our trust, that their voice and their presence are not erased, because one are not erased in our digital project, that we may find some luck. Finally, the issue of decontextualization comes to mind. Communities do not want to feel a sense of erasure in the digital work or digital the digital objects that is eventually created. In the case of a digital archive, we want to have a sense that the original context is not lost. And the best way to do that again is just to make sure that we carry the community along in an ethnographic way that recognizes their voice and agency. We are not just academics looking for materials and then discarding those who provide these very invaluable resources. We're people who are partnering with local communities and honoring the resources they give us. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Thank you, Dr. Yeku. If you look at our schedule, we are far ahead of. We are far below what where we're supposed to be. But I think it is better to allow people to ask questions than rushing things. I'm sure that data is live and is kind of expensive in many parts of the world. But I think since we are here, I think we should just allow people to ask their question. But if you have not asked your question and you have not simplified before now, you will be given the opportunity later in the program. So let's take Dr. Ruth Oji now from Pan African University. Am I correct? Dr.
Hi, thank you very much. Yes, my name is Ruth Oji. That's OJI. Okay. From Pan Atlantic University. Okay. Yes. Okay, so I'm a new timer, a first timer here, a newbie, and I've been interested in digital humanities. Only I really haven't read up so much about it, or I see it as a way to go. So one question I would like to get an answer to, which I've earlier on imputed on the chat box, there is, how can I use this approach? I don't know, I see it as an approach in analyzing language in context, just like we do in pragmatic studies. I'm more of a language than a literature person. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'd like to know, is there any connect? Is there a fine line between what we do in pragmatics and then in digital humanities? Or is there a way to merge both approaches so that one is coming out with research that is new, that is original, and that makes more sense, that is appealing, that is not the same kind of thing everybody is doing? Are there also works that have been done, for example, using the digital humanities approach on pragmatic studies, for example, or discourse studies, language studies, that one can read and be better enlightened? Those are my questions. Thank you for the opportunity. Okay.
I will select people to answer the question, but may I just say that, well, DH is an interdisciplinary field that virtually everybody in the humanities and the social sciences is relevant. Okay, and there are a lot of tools that you can actually deploy to your analysis based on the theory or the data that you have at hand. For instance, there are open source tools that you can use for text linguistics, which is very popular among DH, especially in our own part. But some people like Fariola, as we listen to him much later, will see that some DH scholars, they are now going into building their own program kind of that can actually analyze which the particular kind of data they have at hand. So it is a very open opportunity for you to deploy DA tools to analysis in pragmatics and other spheres of social sciences, and then the humanity itself. So may I just speak on Dr. Richard to give a little input into that?
James,
I'm coming to you, Prof. I'm coming to you, sir.
James. Hello?
Okay, back to Prof. The person I wanted to talk has declined. We hold you in your breakout room. So, Professor Paibi, to you.
Okay, Ruth, thank you very much. We welcome you to the platform, and we appreciate your interest.
Thank you, Prof.
Yeah, I mean, we have quite a number of, as James has already explained, we have quite a number of tools that we can also we can use to analyze data. Now, let me give you an example of what you can do. It's called keyword in context analysis. You have a data, you are trying to look for a pattern in your data, and you are trying to see how that pattern connects, okay, and how that actually brings out the meaning of what you are looking at. Now, let me give you an example. For instance, you are looking at Wole Soyinka's novel, and you are trying to find out some keywords and how they occur in different contexts and what they mean. So we have some tools that can actually assist you to do that. And well, a number of us have done some works in that. So I think James we can supply you some of the references that you can actually read up. And of course, if you Google search my name online, you can actually have access to some of the things I've done in this area. I think that would be of help to you and to others to actually see how they can use these tools.
Thank you, Prof. And Dr. Rutoji, thank you for your question. If you go through our charts, you see that some tools are already put out there for everyone to copy and try to see. There is Voyant Tools, there is philocomp.net. Ancon tool will be put up there, and a whole lot of them that we can actually deploy to our analysis. Okay, so I think Damilola Adegoke wants to say something. Damilola Adegoke, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to call the attention of somebody who asked a particular question on the chat box just now, but it's something that I think we'll find very useful. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So a very good one is, I would want to commend you guys. I don't want to go over it again. I would talk more later on after this program. But what I want to say quickly is, I can see that I've seen a lot of people asking questions about how to use digital humanities for their various works and what have you, and various tools have been suggested to them. But I would rather advise that maybe, I don't know if you guys have it like as a plan, that you organize series of maybe seminars on specific methods or selected digital humanities approaches, so that people can be familiar with this. Because if you just ask people to go and use tools without really understanding how to go about it, it's just like handling them a flight manual. If they're interested in flying, just straight at them and say, go and learn how to fly. So it will not really go well. So I would pause for now. Very good work.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Daniel.
Could I just offer a quick response,
okay.
James?
James,
I think Damilola makes a very important point. And one way to address that is also to ask people not to allow some of these tools and platforms their interests. One good thing is that many of these tools and platforms come up with documentation, some form of guide to help you use the tools. The first thing you need to do indeed would be to go on the platform themselves and see the documentation provided, and then you learn. But if you have to wait till you really get a sense of the tools and the platforms, you may never get started.
Okay,
always knowing that they have some forms of document for you to guide your work.
Okay. So thank you, James. I want to say that we should reserve the remaining questions that we may have. As the program progresses, you begin to get answers to your question, because this is just one part of the discussion. So now we'll go over to Cameroon as we listen to Igwe Emmanuel. Dr. Igwe, are you there? Igwe Emmanuel, are you there? I hope the network. I'm trying to.